Well, here it is. So, to be honest with you, I don't do streaming. I know, sounds strange, but I don't stream very much, and I'm going to. And I'm going to just show you what I just discovered. This is just, this will keep you interested while I try and find a way to see if this is working. I just tried a new setting. Every step of this business's development, from high-end professional podcasting, recording and production, to adding video to that, and that's great. And I use vMix. So the next step is to nail nail streaming. As I always say, I'm happy to share with all y'all. But the question is, am I streaming? Am I streaming this right now? And the answer is, yeah, I reckon I am. But I'm just going to hopefully, yep, let me just going to give me a second while I have a little listen. Okay. Good. All right, happy now. Have a look. There it is. So what's happening, why you're getting this crazy thing in the background is feedback. Okay, so it's a feedback loop created by I've set my full screen to display one. See that? That's just my other monitor. And of course, it's just in a feedback loop. But why I'm still there with all the other kind of kooky stuff going all around it is because I've got an overlay. Allow me to attempt to demonstrate there. I take away my big head and it goes nuts. Put my big head back. All right, so enough of this nonsense. This is what we're here for. Okay, so bear with me. The reason I'm kind of a bit excited about the idea of live streaming because the casualness, huge fan of streaming idiots, because they literally are, there's this acceptance that they're high-end professionals. They build, fantastic streaming computers and they share every part of the journey. I think it helps people realize that this industry hits a hurdle about every minute. And the better you are is the better and calmer you handle those hurdles. So, streaming's not my thing, and here I am streaming. So I thought I just want to do a recap on the green screen business from a few days ago. So I have been playing with the green screen. I toyed with it a few years ago, and it was a novelty and a bit of fun. And yeah, it is a bit of a thrill, but I've kind of left it alone since then. And you'll see, the green screen I'm using right now is probably another silly idea. Okay, there it is. That's better. It's probably another silly idea because all it is and I'm going to show you, all it is one of those cheap sort of fold up green screens that are like those beach shelters that you can see sort of dads on the beach wrestling with them to try and do a magic twirl thing to get them back in their little bag. And I recently saw my friends put up a couple of those for sale on Gumtree, I think it was, or the marketplace. And I had a laugh because the photos that they showed of these weren't popped up, because I know they've gone and opened it and just kind of opened it just enough to sort of get a photo. But, I could feel that in that building they're going, don't let it out. Don't let it out. We just spent hours putting it back in. Just to let you know, the camera on my head right now is a Bird Dog PTZ 200. It's a PTZ NDI camera, so that's just knocking out 180p at 50, and I'll just zoom it out. So I haven't sorted the exposure for this particular view. So there you have it. So you can see all I've got is some little cheap lights just pointing at it. So it's not a big setup. It's not my priority, and I don't plan on doing too much green screen type thing from in here. You can see they're a bit too bright over there, but where I was, now I'm going to be in trouble when I do my little talking head. So that is then taken as another input, a duplicate input. What do they call it? Let's have a look. They call it a virtual input, right? So this, what you're seeing now, I've taken as a virtual input, which then looks like, let's try and find it, then looks like the one we started with, and then that is made into a couple of little talking heads of two different sizes. So one is on now, but you can't tell because it's exactly the same image, right? And that's the big one. And then I've got a little version there. And that's kind of that's all this little green screen's for. So when I, whatever I do in the background, things like this, the little talking head will be there. And now I can safely demonstrate the big talking head. All right. So it's just the same image as two different inputs. For reference, I'm using a, let me just try something. I'm sort of doing a combo here because I haven't programmed my MIDI controller to do any of all these funny little things that you see here. So I'm using a combination of the mouse and the MIDI controller. So hope it's all right. And also I need one more screen to be able to look at what's going on, to see if anyone's actually watching and respond to anything I see. Maybe the phone would be the best bet for that. What do you think? All right, so I'm going to open that up. Like I always say, it's not my thing. Okay, we're safe because I don't think anyone's watching. That's good for now. All right, so I was going to record this and I thought I'll just stream it and see what happens after that. All right, so the whole point of it is nothing to do with any of this. The whole point of this is input number 4. This is why we're here. So the setup in the last video showed it showed the results I'd got from stretching a really cheap sort of green screen I'd bought online from Amazon or something like that. It was all folded up, and I sort of found a clever way to use tarpaulin clamps and stretch it so that I can quickly stretch it across the back wall to get more space. Because when I show you this one, that's the actual view from the camera, which is, for reference, a Panasonic G95 running through a Bird Dog Flex backpack NDI converter. So this is the view from the camera. Now you can see, if you look, you'll see two different greens. So behind it, you'll see the material that I strung up for the last experiment. And the plain green in the middle is actually a new backdrop roll that I've bought, and it arrived yesterday. Well, so I've just hung up and given it a go. So I already had the backdrops, and how on earth would I get to show you that? How would I get to show you that? I don't know. I'll work it out. I'll change it to camera 2. I'm going to try something here, and this is meant to be why I like streaming. Right, now watch this. So where's it pointing? Okay, so we've got ourselves another Bird Dog camera, and it looks like the settings are set to, I'm going to try and get, the cable was on the exposure button. So there's my rolls there. The green roll I had bought while I was building this studio. I thought I'll get a white, a black, and a green to start with. And the green I got was too bright. It's not here, I can't show you. But it was a really light pale green, even though it did say keylight in, you know, in the color name. I got the wrong one, and this one arrived, and I think it's going to do a better job. And the lights are just in the same place and the same setup. So I haven't fiddled with those yet. All right, so that's the result. So this is also the same key settings. So you can see it's pretty extreme. It's not showing the difference between the two greens. There's a bit of darkness in the bottom right corners, which I haven't really worried about too much. And but you can see there's a little bit of the reflection on the table, especially on the left side behind that bottle, and that's just green light being reflected into the lens straight from the screen due to the shiny table. Now I sprayed, as you know from the last video, I sprayed a matte clear over that table, and it made a huge difference. So the next thing is to try and bring back the keylight settings and see. I haven't worked out a way of showing you the settings while I do it. Maybe I can get it. So what I'm going to do is get the keylight settings. So once again, a little bit like before, the display that I'm showing now is simply a combination of a bunch of things. It's not the actual keyed out view from this camera. That is just one layer in this scenario. So it's a layer of that, and I'll see what's behind there. That's turning that layer off, or another layer on. There's from a show I did the other day with a bit of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So you get to using this system, using my MIDI controller, I can pre-program a bunch of different layers that can be popped up behind, that can include video or whatever. So I'll demonstrate if I remember where I put the starting point. Yeah, see? So you can actually put video, another input, a display capture. Maybe that's what I should be doing, the display capture. It'd probably go a bit kooky, but let's have a little look. In fact, that's what I'll do. I'll turn full screen off. Bear with me. So there is a display capture, but I want to add it to the background of this whole thing so that we can have a look whether it's working or not. All right, so I've got the settings open of input number 4, which is the input that is layering this color keyed shot plus Bill and Ted. Maybe I'm going to take Bill and Ted off. The reason I've got this crazy pink, it's not just to grab attention in a thumbnail. It's actually so that I can see where the green screen's failing or succeeding. All right, so I'm just going to add the desktop capture as a layer. So there it is. So that's my other desktop. So now that I can show you that. I mean, I haven't actually made I know it went full screen there. So that's the settings for this layer. You can see all the different layers, Bill and Ted, desktop capture, virtual. I didn't make an on and off for the actual desk shot automatic button, but I can do that. You see, I know that all one of you are very interested in what the image is behind there. It's just a photo from going through a drive-through car wash. It's a photo of the colours on the windscreen and the pink soapy bubbles and whatever was going on outside that I took when I was washing Grandma's car with my daughter. All right, so there you have it. So when you've got display capture going on, it's really hard to know where your mouse is when you've got multiple monitors. All right, so the whole point of this was to see the effect of the green screen. So what I'm going to do now, and this is going to get even weirder, I'm going to find the original There it is. Okay, now what's going to happen when I do this? All right. So that's the original. So we've lost our display capture setting anyway. And I'm going to go to the color key on that. Where is it? Virtual. The one I'm using for that desk is number 39, input number 39. So what I'm going to do is reduce the color key. So on the slider, I want to go back to this for a sec. How am I going to do that? Let's get that one back. All right, that was there. Okay, so you can see the color. There's the chroma key settings for the shot from the camera of the room. So the desk and the talent and all that. So you can see that slider there, chroma key filter. So what I want to do when I put the pink back on is move that around, that slider there, and that's the only thing I'm going to do, and reduce the chroma key effect and see at what stage we still get chroma key on the paper and see what's better, the paper or the cloth behind it. All right, so I think here we go. Right, so if I do that and then I do that, and then I have to take off that layer. I haven't made a shortcut for it. So I'm just going to take off the input 39. That's not it. I'm just going to take off that layer, which is desktop capture. Okay, so I should be able to get that pink back pretty soon. Color pink should be number 3. Take Bill and Ted away, and there it is. All right, that's so that we can see what's going on. So I'm going to go back to layer, my chroma key layer, which is 39. And right, so here we are. So that slider I showed you before, I'm about to slide it backwards because I think it's definitely got tons of chroma key going on. The hazy bits in the bottom left and right, that's just because there's no light shining on that area. Doesn't really matter. It's not part of, like I'm zoomed out further than I would in this shot that I want anyway. So I'm backing it off and you can see the key light as I turn it down failing to the right hand side. And now, so now we're seeing the paper start showing, and now the paper's starting to fail as I slide it back a bit more, quite a bit back. So I turn it back up until every bit of that paper is keyed out, which it appears to be with my old eyes. And there you go. So I was able right then to bring the chroma key amount right back until the material that I got on Amazon stopped working completely. And that material is further wider, so it is under more pressure, but you can see a clear difference. So that's, I think that's an experiment well made. The paper is better, but it's not wider, and that's the problem. I kind of, the whole point of the cloth was to be able to just get that little bit extra width. But I can use, there's 10 meters of that paper, so I can actually slice some off and make some sort of standing things that add a bit more to it, I guess. Actually, maybe if I made some that stood on a slight angle, then they would pick up light from my key lights, which I'll show you a bit later on. But they're mainly to get just behind I'm sort of using them to go across to the face of one talent from one end of from one side of the room to the other, but also spilling a bit onto the green screen to wash it, and also to come in slightly behind the hair of the guest that's on the same side as the light. So maybe I should give you a view. I'm trying to find out where the cameras are all pointing. I think camera number 2. Maybe I'll give you a view of what the hell I'm on about. Okay, camera 2. So that's obviously the key light I'm just talking about. And so I've got that so that it's slightly giving a bit of more wash on the green, but also on the face of whoever's sitting in that chair, and then hopefully create a little bit of back hair light for whoever's in that chair. And there is a couple more things I've got going on. There's a few lights around. There's a little one there, and I just shoot a bit of sort of bluey white light up behind the talent to sort of define them in the green screen and also make it more interesting. Plus, from my desk here, I can control the colour of that if I feel like it. And so there you have it. The experiment is done live on YouTube. I'm definitely going to work out a way of slicing a bit more paper and putting it onto some boards. This is a pretty versatile room. As you saw, the main green screen paper rolls away. And so it's lovely. The white brick wall probably gets used more than anything. So I don't really want a permanent cloth hanging across there or too much fuss. So I'm secretly chuffed that the cloth is a fail. And I'm super chuffed that the other colour of green that I just bought is working way better. I look forward to getting a punter in there. And you can see on the table, I can't see too much pink. There's a tiny bit on the left. It's down enough so I can't see too much pink bleeding through there, which means it's turned down enough so that the reflection of the green is not being keyed out. So I'm pretty chuffed. And thanks for watching my very rare live stream. I will be doing some tech live streaming, just what's going on in the studio kind of talk, where it's all very relaxed like this. And of course, there's been this sort of really big, I guess there's a dilemma with this type of thing, because what I'm doing here really requires an audience, I guess, or some people to ask questions or engage. I haven't quite got used to even looking at how to engage, but I will most definitely just do it. I've decided just do it, and if people and I'll have something to talk about like today, and I'll just ramble on until someone catches on and wants to know a question about what's going on here, about any of the tech. I'll probably make a standard list of everything in here so I can have a chat about what's being used in this studio and the other studios. All right, I better go. All right. How to end the stream. Can't be that hard.